Nigel Farage has started backpedaling on deporting women and children, and that tells you everything about how weak Britain has become. One day he's bold, saying everyone who comes across in a dinghy gets detained and deported. Men, women, children, granny with a pram strapped to the side of the boat. Everyone. Then the backlash comes, the headlines get loud, and suddenly Farage is rowing so fast in reverse you'd think he was auditioning for the Oxford boat race. He says now, "Oh no, we're not even discussing women and children right now. Not top of the list." Translation? He blinked. He cracked under the pressure of Britain's endless addiction to guilt. We are the only country in the world where people can illegally break into the house, demand dinner, and the government debates whether or not we should tuck them into bed. Here's the blunt truth. If you arrive on a small boat, you should not be here. Full stop. Doesn't matter if you're a grown man, a teenage boy, a woman, or a child. The whole, "but what about the women and kids?" argument is emotional blackmail. It's using children as human shields against the law. And the moment you start making exceptions, the system collapses. You think smugglers won't load up boats with kids the second they know kids get a free pass? You'll turn human trafficking into a booming industry. And let's talk about where they're actually coming from. France, a safe country, a developed country. These are not refugees fleeing war zones straight onto our shores. They've already passed through safe nations with working asylum systems. But somehow, magically, Britain is the promised land. Why? Benefits, free housing, NHS access, cash allowances, the red carpet treatment. Meanwhile, our own citizens are struggling to pay rent, get a GP appointment, or find a place in a school. Veterans are sleeping rough. Elderly people are choosing between heating and food. But no, the priority is always making sure those arriving on boats are comfortable. Farage was right the first time. Everyone means everyone. Otherwise, the policy is meaningless. If you start chopping it up, men first, women and children later, maybe exceptions here and there, you don't have border control, you have border chaos. And let's not kid ourselves, these NGOs and activists know exactly what they're doing. They parade photos of kids in life jackets, they scream compassion, they weaponize the language of human rights. Meanwhile, criminal gangs are cashing in, raking thousands per boat, laughing all the way to the bank, because Britain won't grow a spine. And about human rights, let's be clear, the European Convention on Human Rights was written 70 years ago in the aftermath of World War II for an entirely different world. It was about preventing genocide and gulags. It was not written to stop Britain from deporting someone who illegally crossed the channel with no papers, no right to be here, and a rehearsed sob story. The Refugee Convention, the UN Convention Against Torture, these were built for a different era. They've been twisted into a shield for mass illegal migration. That's why Reform UK wants to rip them up, not because they hate humanity, but because they actually respect sovereignty. What's the point of having a border if anyone can cross it, claim asylum, and get endless appeals that last for years? That's not asylum, that's a loophole. And look where they want to house these people now. RAF bases, our military infrastructure. We are literally turning over our defence assets to house illegal entrants. Soldiers get mouldy barracks, but migrants get a guaranteed bed on a base, Britain taxpayers funded. Tell me how that makes sense. Here's the brutal reality, and people don't like to say it out loud, but it needs saying. Mass migration is unsustainable. You cannot have a functioning society if your borders are a joke. You cannot look after your citizens if the system is constantly prioritizing outsiders. You cannot build unity if every conversation ends in, "But what about compassion?" Compassion without discipline is chaos. So Farage wobbling here is dangerous. He cannot afford to blink. If this policy is going to work, it has to apply across the board. Women, children, everyone. That doesn't mean cruelty. It means clarity. It means telling the truth. Britain is not a free hotel. If you come here illegally, you will not stay here. End of story. Because if we don't, the message goes out across Europe. Get to Britain. Don't worry about the rules. They'll cave. And then the boats double, then triple. And the tragedy is, more people die at sea. More people are exploited by traffickers. More chaos. Strong borders save lives. Weak borders create coffins. This country has to decide, are we serious about sovereignty, or are we just pretending? Farage showed a flash of seriousness, then he flinched. And that flinch is exactly what smugglers, activists and opportunists are banking on. Britain deserves better. Our people deserve better. Borders are not racist. They're not cruel. They are the foundation of a functioning nation. Without them, you don't have a country and you have a free-for-all. So no, Nigel, don't row back. Double down. If you mean it, mean it. Because the people of this country are sick of the spin, sick of the loopholes, and sick of watching their leaders crumble at the first sign of Twitter outrage. If you want to lead, then lead. If you want to cave, then admit it. But don't insult us by pretending women and children are suddenly invisible. The law must be clear. Everyone means everyone. Otherwise the boats keep coming, the traffickers keep cashing in, and Britain keeps losing itself. We at Nubian Narrator News fully and totally support all legal forms of immigration and migration, always have. We recognise the value migrants bring to Britain in culture, in work ethic, in building communities. We want the asylum process overhauled, modernised and streamlined so people fleeing real danger get their applications processed quickly, fairly and with dignity. But here's the thing. If you're not doing it legally, if you're jumping into a dinghy, shredding your papers and sneaking across the channel, you're not an asylum seeker, you're a queue jumper. If you want to come to Britain, fantastic. Apply legally, we'll back you, we'll celebrate you, we'll welcome you. But if you're sneaking across the channel, off you go, back to France. That's the line, that's sovereignty. And until Britain grows a spine and says it without apology, the boats will keep coming, the traffickers will keep laughing, and the taxpayers will keep bleeding. So yes, overhaul asylum, streamline it, make it fast, fair and humane. But illegal small boat crossings, no exceptions, no loopholes, no excuses. Everyone means everyone.